Here's some tips and tricks for those of you who use Clip Studio Paint as a VTuber model artist or an artist in general. These are things that helped me a lot when I first started making models and making models throughout. It saved me so much time and made working on things a lot faster and the process much more simpler for me. Hopefully, this might be something that you might want to implement in your stuff as well. My first tip: whenever I would work on projects, specifically models, originally on default, whenever I wanted to see what was on a layer, it would normally pop up here. This is your layer canvas preview. So whenever you have something on a layer, it will show up here as the whole canvas. So sometimes it was really hard to see what it was that I was drawing, but I have it so that way if I draw something, it shows me specifically the area of the layer what I drawn. On default, it looks like this. But if I make the brush smaller, right, let's make it this tiny little dot. You can barely see that on the preview. But what I found is if you right click on this preview, go to thumbnail display and have it on show only layer area, you can see specifically the shape of what you have drawn on that layer. But if I draw something over here, it will obviously make it a little bit bigger because it's showing a bigger range of where you have drawn. But if you draw a lot of tiny little details like petals and stuff, this might make it a lot easier for you to manage and find what you're trying to look for. This is my first tip. My second tip is isolating layers. I hated when I was working on VTuber models and I would have to scroll and turn off a bunch of layers in order to see something specifically that I wanted. You can actually isolate a layer to show only that layer. So for example, let's say I only wanted to see this specific layer, this one that's moving. If you hold down Alt on your keyboard while pressing this little eye icon and holding it down while you click it, it will isolate the layer so you can see only that layer. And to undo it, you do the same thing, but be careful because you might glitch it out if you isolate a layer and then do this. If you have a lot of layers, you'll have to turn them manually back on if you accidentally do it on the wrong layer. So be careful with this. Now, as you can see, I also have a different background. This is actually not a color for the canvas. This is actually my transparency color. So if I get rid of both of these, this is what my transparency is. Normally, for a lot of people and for most people, it's actually a grid, a checker grid. You can actually make the checker grid color for your CSP one specific color by going down to File and Preferences, and you want to go to Canvas. This section here for your transparency, color 1 and color 2, those will be your checker colors. You could actually change them. For example, let's say if I make it red and click confirm, there's your checker. I have it on one specific color, so it's a lot easier on my eyes to digest, especially if you have really sensitive eyes. It's really helpful. So just click OK. It makes it transparent. If you save artworks this way, yes, it won't come out as gray or it won't come out as the checker color. It will be completely transparent, so you will not have anything there. Now, another tip. Whenever a lot of people have Clip Studio, on default, they have a setting where if you were to duplicate a layer, it would normally have the word copy here. But it's actually a setting that you can turn off by also going to Preferences and going to the Layer/Frame tab. If you have your setting on copy, it will normally rename a duplicated layer. So if I duplicate this layer, it will put copy there. But if you go to the settings and switch it to do not rename and click OK. Let's make a brand new layer just to prove this point. And I'm going to name it dot. If I copy and duplicate it, it won't have the word copy anymore. Hopefully this saves you guys a lot of time, because these tricks honestly saved me a fuck ton of time making models. So hopefully this helps.